In the 21st century, there are people living in tents and huts in the Syrian desert in a place called Al-Hol Camp. They are people I know. They are friends and they are members of my own family. We have this record of our time there. This camp we called home for 3.5 years. I lived there with my wife, Hanan, and son. It's where my daughter was born. Officially, we were refugees. But really, I had been a refugee all of my life. My name is Tayem. I am Palestinian. I have never been the citizen of a country. Not even the country where I was born, Iraq. In Baghdad, I was a taxi driver. I owned a car, but I could not get a license to drive it as a taxi because I am Palestinian. In Iraq, Palestinians could work, but couldn't own a business. So I had to ask an Iraqi friend to license my own car for me. It's hard to describe what it feels like to live in a country without citizenship, without rights. But we told ourselves, at least it's a peaceful life. And it was, until 2003. I blame George Bush for what happened to my family that year. He sent the American soldiers that bombed Baghdad. And I blame the new regime in Iraq for what happened after. The regime didn't stop the Iraqi militia who targeted the Sunni Muslims like my family and bombed Palestinian neighborhoods. And then in 2004, on Eid al-Adha, the first reason for us to think about fleeing Iraq, my father-in-law and my brother-in-law were killed in one of those bombings.
It was the biggest feast for the Muslim people, and they went to buy some sweet from store. And when they went to store, it was 4 mortars, and they killed. The second reason for me to leave Baghdad, I was a taxi driver, and I have to pass on the street.
And the Iraqi militia had put up checkpoints all around Baghdad. And at each checkpoint, they demanded to see ID. They were looking for Palestinians. They were looking for Sunnis.
My cousin was 26 years, and he was working with the Ministry of Health as a technician. And one day when he finished his job and went home, there was checkpoint, and they stopped him and asked him about his ID. And when they know he's Palestinian, they shot him. One time I was stopped at checkpoint, and they asked me about the ID, and I said I forgot my ID in my house. But because I was speaking like Iraqi people and I have the accent, Iraqi accent, they said, okay, but next time you cannot forget your ID. You have to carry your ID. I was very scared. Really, I was very scared. Because if they take me to police office, yeah, maybe they will kill me.
So I couldn't drive my car. I couldn't work, and I couldn't support my family. By the time I left Baghdad, 500 Palestinians had already been killed. Many, many more would die. The militia were killing us like sheep. So 3 of my brothers and I decided it was time to leave Iraq, decided to try to take control of our future. We're the 4 youngest of the brothers, Muhammad, Muthanna, Osama, and me. And we would bring what was left of my wife's family. But my oldest brother, Ayman, wouldn't come with us.
He was working with the Ministry of Health as a nurse, and he said, okay, right now I'm okay, and I am working with the patient, and right now I cannot leave Iraq. And we asked him to leave Iraq. Please leave Iraq. And he said, no, I am okay right now. My parents decided to stay with my oldest brother.
And that's how war and violence tore my family apart. Our plan was to go to Jordan, but we worried about the checkpoints. I am convinced we got through safely, only because 2 women from Human Rights Watch traveled with us. At the Jordan border, they said that Palestinians couldn't cross. They told us to go back to Baghdad. We said no. After 5 days, the United Nations brought us tents and supplies. We camped at that border of Iraq and Jordan for 2 months. Then Syria let us into Al-Hol, a United Nations refugee camp for Palestinians with nowhere else to go, where in the first weeks there wasn't enough food or water. We were told to eat just enough not to die, where we were held as prisoners by the Syrian army, not because of anything we did, but because of who we are. For 3.5 long years, where it was too hot in the summer and too cold in the winter, and the sandstorms. The women always cleaning and the dirt always there. We would look at our children and think, what happened to the future we wanted for them? There is no hope here. So we wrote letters. Every family wrote letters to every embassy we could think of. And everyone said the same thing. We are here. Please help us. Please take us. No country answered. But at least no one was trying to kill us. It was different for Palestinians in Iraq. We got phone calls telling us that people we knew were dead. The Iraqi militia went to the hospital looking for my brother. A friend hid him in a closet. That's what forced my parents and my oldest brother to finally leave Baghdad. So our family came together again in Al-Hol camp, but only for a month, because my brothers and I got the news that we were leaving. I just ran away through the camp and shouted, "We will go to Canada, we will go to Canada." We were going to Vancouver, and it was a group of Christian churches that were paying our way.
We ask for the fullness of the table of life to be spread for the poor, for the hungry, for the refugee.
We knew they were people who had been forced out of Baghdad, who had either lost family members or been personally attacked. We're talking about human beings, mums, dads, and children who can't return to Iraq, who can't stay in refugee camps. When all the camp refugees came to our attention through Amnesty International and through the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. We saw it was a population we had to respond to. More so because we knew they had no other option. If a private sponsor didn't come forward, these people were lost.
I didn't imagine that. A group of Christian people sponsors Muslims people. I didn't imagine that.
My brothers were sponsored by Baptists, Unitarians, and Mennonites. And I was brought by the United Church and the people of the mosque, the British Columbia Muslim Association.
We were delighted that they were interested and ecstatic to be working with them.
It is because of those people, both Christians and Muslims, that I now freely pray in a mosque in Vancouver instead of in a tent in the Syrian desert. And it is because of those people that my parents and my oldest brother will soon join us here. I have learned a new trade. My brother Osama and I install flooring. We think the best way to succeed for refugees like us is to own a business. We have a truck and we have tools, but so far we haven't had work. And it is work that will make a Canadian life possible for us, for Hanan and for our children. Work will mean a house one day instead of a one-bedroom apartment. It will guarantee my children a future where they will have choices. And work will mean we can help our parents. We all went to the airport and everybody brought cameras to record their arrival at the end of April. Now we only have to wait for one brother and expect him to arrive soon. And then the family will finally be together again. At least that is what I hope. The situation in Syria is unsettled.
Please enter the phone number you would like to call.
There is no contact with us. I don't know what's happened. Maybe in this situation. But they will be fine, absolutely. Yeah.
الو
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. يا مرحبا لين.
شلونك أشرف؟ شو أخبارك؟
هلا هلا يا شلونك حبيبي؟
He's my friend and he is in, right now he's in Damascus. He went to Damascus to treatment. Yeah, and he told me everything is okay. in Damascus and in Al-Hol camp. But in Al-Hol camp, yesterday there was wind and hail. Yeah, and he said maybe the signal is not good there.
But he's talked to your brother?
Yeah, he told me yesterday he talked to my brother and everything is okay. Best friend for me is very, very good, and he has one son. Yeah, and he will come to Canada. 2 days ago, Heather phoned me and told me 90% they found a sponsor for him. Yeah, and I told him that if my friend came to Canada, that will be great for me.
You're probably more aware than I am about the trouble in Syria right now, because we've been watching it daily.
Yeah.
And I've been wondering what was going to be happening. The message I've got is all the visa office referred cases. Now this means your brother, your cousins, all the ones we've got will get priority and be moved quickly. So they're being what's called expedited. I don't know what it means, Ihab. It means faster.
Yeah.
But I can't say 2 days, 3
Yeah, I know.
days, whatever.
I know.
So the people in Al-Hol who don't have a sponsor yet, like your friend,
Yeah.
they're obviously not going to move faster. They'll be put at the back of the list. So it's good for your family. It's not good for your friend right now.
I found him
Doesn't look
maybe
good.
13 minutes ago. I found him.
You told him we were looking. Calmed him down?
Yeah, but I told him you have a sponsor 90%.
90%.
Yeah, you have sponsor.
I have 90% sponsor.
But I told him,
Good.
I told him about you,
Yeah.
Heather. There's some lady, her name is Heather, and he told me, don't worry, and you will come to
We'll
Canada.
get him here.
Today or tomorrow or next month or next year, you
Yeah.
will come to Canada.
I hated having to tell Ihab that his friend, for whom we haven't got a sponsorship yet, we have almost, but his friend might be caught in this problem that is Syrian. And if our embassy is compromised and does have to pull Canadian staff out, that means the friend could be left there for months, if not years.
I have to find job. That's most important. Assalamu alaikum.
When we got the phone call offering us work, it wasn't in Vancouver. The job is in Edmonton, Alberta, more than 1,000 kilometers away. So my parents have just arrived, and Osama and I are going to leave. Our family will be separated, not by war or violence, but by the need to work.
Yeah, it's difficult to go away from my family, and it's the first time for us. Not just in Canada, from we got married. This is the first time. It's the life, and we have to work. We have to find job.
It's difficult for me because I am pregnant now 8 months. Yeah. And when my husband go to the Alberta, who helped me? Because I have 2 children.
A friend from Al-Hol camp recommended us for this job. It's only for 3 weeks, but the wages are good. He said we needed to start on Monday. So Osama and I leave our families at 5 a.m. It is a long day's drive to Edmonton. Who could have said that it would be the chance for work that would pull me away from my family? That the need to earn money would be what would separate us. But at least we will be back before the baby is born.
Before I came to Edmonton, I thought it's just one project we will do with my brother. And when we came and we saw the work here in Edmonton, it's very busy and a lot of works, a lot of projects.
We did 8 houses, between 8 houses. We did the floor for them.
Yeah, we did 5 apartments
And 2
and
houses.
2 houses. And there are 2 houses. Yeah, now we're thinking to stay in Edmonton.
So after everything that has happened, maybe my family will all be in Canada, but not be together. For Osama and me, we work 6 days a week with Sundays off. If we can work this much, we think that in 3.5 years we can buy a house together. For now, we live with friends from Al-Hol camp, but we're workers, not refugees.
Not like my wife. But for someone who's hungry, it's good to find food after work.
Muhammad came with his parents from Al-Hol camp. Like us, he came to Edmonton for work. Mahmoud is here alone. His father is dead. His mother is still in Baghdad. So in lots of ways, we're the lucky ones. But you know the importance of family. My parents have only been in Vancouver a month. I would like to see them more. And it is very difficult to be away from my children. It is difficult to be away from Hanan. I phone her every day and ask her about the children, about everything. She told me that for the first 2 or 3 days it was difficult for them, but now they're used to it. She feels, what is the word? Settled in Vancouver.
Okay, question for number 5. Let me show. 1 times 5. Did you think the 5-year-old? 400.
Ahmed is in school, a good school. 1/3 of the children are from refugee families. He is in the 1st grade.
That was what you were going to say, right?
Pineapples. Pineapples. Grapes?
Yeah, so these are raisins.
Raisins.
And Hanan goes to school too, to learn English, to become Canadian.
I think just the determination and the relief at being here is what will carry them through. It won't be easy, but it won't be impossible.
One day I will be the citizen of a country for the first time. But already I feel like one, because already I can do anything any Canadian can do. There are more than 1 million Palestinians in refugee camps who would like to know that feeling. When I left Al-Hol camp, the people said to me, Ihab, tell them about us. Don't let the world forget about us.